you imagine being asleep and getting hit by a meteorite? Or falling from over 10,000 meters and surviving? It's not luck, it's not fate, it's history. These are 8 Guinness World Records broken unintentionally. Vesna Vulovic was a Serbian flight attendant for Yugoslav Airlines. On January 26, 1972, her life changed forever when JAT Flight 367, on which she was working, was shot down over Czechoslovakia. The explosion caused the plane to disintegrate at an altitude of more than 10,000 meters. According to subsequent investigations, it was suspected that a Croatian nationalist group placed an explosive device on the aircraft, although no conclusive evidence was ever presented and no arrests were ever made. But here's the amazing thing. Vesna was the only survivor. How did she make it? It is believed that she landed in a snowy area, which may have cushioned her impact. In addition, she was trapped in the rear section with the food cart, which provided some protection. After this, the Serbian flight attendant went through a long recovery process and obtained the Guinness World Record for the highest free fall without a parachute. Romeo was a 10-day-old young bovine on a dairy farm when he was sent to slaughterhouse. Robert and Misty rescued him from certain death when he was already in a meat box. After her rescue, he found a new home at a Robert and Misty Animal Sanctuary in Oregon. With an impressive height of 1.94 meters, he breaks the Guinness record for the world's tallest bull. Today, Romeo is not only known for his incredible size, but also for his friendly personality and ability to connect with both people and the other animals at the sanctuary. As a curiosity, the keepers claim that Romeo loves to be hugged. Salvador Alvarenga was a fisherman from El Salvador when, on November 17, 2012, along with his partner Ezequiel, he set sail in a small fishing boat from a fishing village on the Costa Azul in Chiapas, Mexico. What began as a daily routine turned into a struggle for survival when a storm blew them out to sea. They used their ingenuity to survive, catching fish, sharks, turtles, hunting birds, and collecting rainwater. However, Ezequiel could not resist the diet and died of thirst and hunger 4 months after the shipwreck. On the other hand, Salvador was able to resist, and his drift in the Pacific Ocean lasted up to 438 days until January 30, 2014, when he reached the Marshall Islands. Salvador unintentionally broke the Guinness record for the longest period of survival at sea alone. Massive traffic congestion in China on August 14, 2010, gripped the G110 and G6 expressways near Beijing, stretching for over 100 kilometers. The main cause of the traffic jam was a combination of maintenance work on the highway, a sudden increase in heavy truck traffic heading towards Beijing, and the vacation season. As a result, thousands of cargo trucks joined the private vehicles, creating an unprecedented traffic jam. Drivers, stuck in traffic, began to improvise, and some even took the opportunity to rest or exercise. Neighbors in the area joined the cause and sold food and water to those affected. This monumental traffic jam lasted 12 days, making it the longest traffic jam ever recorded in the Guinness Book of Records. Plennie Wingo was an American who, like many, lost his job during the Great Depression. Wingo was walking through the streets of Texas when he heard 2 children say, "There's nothing left to do." Upon hearing this, he replied without thinking, "No one has ever traveled the world backwards." Plennie did not get the idea out of his head, so he decided to buy himself some mirrored glasses with rear-view mirrors and, looking westward on April 15, 1931, began walking eastward. He walked from Texas to Boston, where he managed to embark for Germany. He continued walking to Istanbul, Turkey, but there the authorities detained him for his own safety. After this, a wealthy Italian paid his way back to Santa Monica, and from there, he returned home with his distinguished stride to Abilene. Along the way, Plennie managed to earn a living by selling autographed postcards, and by the kindness of the people he met along the way. By traveling approximately 13,000 kilometers, Plennie broke the Guinness World Record for the longest distance walked backwards. A gin bottle with a message inside was found by Tanya Illman off the coast of Wedge Island, Australia, in January 2018. One might imagine the classic desperate message from a castaway stuck on a remote island. However, the truth was much more curious. That bottle was part of an ancient German experiment conducted between 1864 and 1933, designed to understand how ocean currents move. In the note, it gave the date the bottle was sent, June 12, 1880. The name of the ship it was sent on, Paula, and asked anyone who found the bottle to send information about where and when it was found to the nearest German consulate. It is now in the Western Australian Museum and holds the Guinness record, even if it was not the intention of the German sailors, for the oldest message in a bottle. Michael Patrick Buonocuore, a young American, was on a family vacation in Pennsylvania in March of 2008. Michael began to show symptoms of a common cold, but his family decided not to make a big deal of it. As the days passed, the symptoms increased until, on the third day, he lost the ability to walk, which caused alarm bells to ring, and the young man was taken to a nearby hospital where he lost consciousness. After a series of tests, the doctors concluded that the boy was diabetic and had a very high blood glucose level, 2,656 milligrams of sugar per deciliter. This figure is 21 times the average blood glucose level, which is between 70 and 180, and is recorded in the Guinness Book of Records as the highest blood glucose level. Ann Hodges, an American woman, was taking a nap at her home in Sylacauga, Alabama, on November 30, 1954, when, suddenly, a meteorite of approximately 30 centimeters and 4 kilos went through the ceiling, bounced off a radio, and finally hit her in the thigh, leaving her stunned but alive. The meteorite caused a media phenomenon, and Anne had to face her own landlady as she claimed it had fallen on her property, which generated a legal battle for its possession since Anne and her husband had planned to keep the space rock to sell it later. In spite of that, Anne kept the meteorite in exchange for paying her landlady $500, so they did not have to go to court. In the end, they were unable to sell it or make any profit, so Anne donated the meteorite, now known as the Hodges meteorite, to the Alabama Museum of Natural History in 1956, where it is still on display. This is how Ann Hodges achieved the Guinness World Record for the only person on record to have been hit by a meteorite.